Hey everybody, Gary Schmidt with PMZ and the Reeve team, and I have a very special thing today. We're going to do a spotlight on a ministry, on an old friend. Oh shoot, I said I wasn't going to say that, but a longtime friend of mine.
Our kids went to school
That's
together.
right, 100 years ago.
MC people.
Yeah,
So.
our daughters cheered together 100 years ago,
Yeah.
and that was a great time. But Tony GNO is the director of H-Street Ministries, downtown Modesto, on H-Street.
Second and H-Street.
Second and H.
We say downtown, but we're actually on the other side of the freeway. We're right next to Mohai.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, which is a great place. And we've been talking a little bit, so Tony's already given me a bunch of information about what he's doing. But so we're just going to have a little conversation here. So Tony, tell me, what does H Street Ministries do?
Well, H-Street Ministry is a food ministry. We serve hot meals there. We serve lunches, cold lunches, and we also do groceries. We also get all sorts of donations of clothing, different commodities, household goods, different things. So whatever we get donated to us, we try to get it out to the people who need it.
Awesome.
Primarily food is our primary
Okay.
ministry.
These are free meals, is that correct?
Free meals, free groceries, no restrictions. If you show up, you get a meal. You don't even have to have an ID. We don't require anything other than show up and behave yourself.
Wow, that is awesome. How often are you doing this?
So we're there 4 days a week. On Monday and Wednesday, we have a bag lunch that we give out. People just walk up to our doors. We hand out a bag lunch, and that's
At what times?
That's from 12:30 to 1:30 on Monday and Wednesday. On Wednesday morning at 10 a.m., we do groceries, and people can show up, and we're part of the commodities program with the Salvation Army. We get all our groceries from the Salvation Army. We bag it up, and we hand those out Wednesday morning.
What would typically be in one of those bags?
Oh my gosh, it could be, there's canned food, canned fruit, there's rice, there's pasta.
Awesome.
We had salmon for the last month. There's always some type of protein, either chicken, pork roast, there's something.
Oh, wow.
The Salvation Army does a fantastic job of putting together a variety, which is supposed to be enough food for 4 people for 5 days.
Okay.
That's what's supposed to be in that bag. Okay. Never tested it, not 100% sure. Maybe wouldn't be enough for me for 4 days, but that's what they're saying. It's supposed to be enough for people to have enough food for 4 days in the bags. We average it at about $75 to $80 worth of food.
Okay, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah,
so that's Wednesday morning.
Every Wednesday, and then every Wednesday with that we either give out clothing, and then we also get donations of fresh produce from a local company, and we'll give out fresh produce, and that's like every other week. Either 1 week it's clothing, 1 week it's produce. And then if we get some special donations, we've been given Amazon boxes, and they're like the mystery Amazon boxes. I think everybody knows what those are, where we just open up the boxes and let people have at it. And I tell you what, every single thing gets taken, all the way down to a bag full of bottle caps and paper clips. So no matter what it is that people find a use for.
It's good to have a good bottle cap now and again. So.
I'm guessing so. I think people use it for crafts, is what someone told me. They take them and they make crafts out of them.
That's awesome.
So, and I guess when you have a lot of time on your hands, you're able to do that kind of thing.
So we've covered Monday and Wednesday. Yeah. And then what else?
Tuesdays are our main function. On Tuesday and Thursday, we open up our doors at 3 o'clock. We start our service at 6 o'clock. It's a full dinner. We serve a full hot meal. We start with worship. We have a worship service. Then we have a speaker. We encourage people with a memory verse. And if they can memorize the memory verse, they get a $10 gift card for the Dollar Tree. And then after that, we serve our meal. And typically, people get a meal there, and then they get to refill their boxes, and we serve everything in to-go boxes, and they can refill their boxes and take a meal home with them. So they get a meal to eat, and they get a meal to take home.
Oh my.
Yeah, so we figure that's about 4 meals a week per person. We're serving right now about 600 meals a week down there.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty
incredible.
good. We're in partnership also with Celebration Center, and they take close to 200 meals. They'll pick them up from us, and they take them out to the homeless camps and to the parks where people are at, people who can't get to where we're
Right.
at.
Okay.
So and that was just amazing when we got connected with them.
Yeah.
So.
Now, we had spoke a little bit before this. Like I said, you had mentioned it's kind of a small percentage as far as homeless that are using your resources there. It's just
It really is, yeah. And we always say that we're feeding the homeless. Everybody say the homeless, and we do feed quite a few homeless, but it's probably about 15%. The people who, what I have seen, we've been doing this ministry now, we're going on our 16th year. The people who need the most help is the grandmother, the great grandmother, living off of $1,800 a month in Social Security, and she's got EBT cards, and that bag, $75 bag of groceries every week, and those 4 meals a week make or break the difference. And typically they're raising, we have at least 2 families currently, and we've had several of these families where they come with all these different children, where their kids and their grandkids with multiple moms, multiple dads,
right,
and the
sure.
grandparents are taking care of them. And we've seen that. That's a huge, and then there's retired people who are barely surviving, and they're living in either some type of a shelter, or they're living in a 1-bedroom apartment, and again they're just barely surviving. That's where the biggest need I see in Modesto is even the homeless. I mean, we got to help that out. We're very happy, but they have a tremendous amount of resources.
Sure.
There's people out driving around in trucks, giving them showers, driving around in trucks, feeding food to them.
Sure.
But it's those ones who are living in that little 1-room apartment that don't have those resources.
Right.
And they're kind of the unseen poor that we have here in Modesto. And we noticed that right off, that's the primary people that we're seeing coming down there, and who really, they're just wanting to survive. They don't want to live on the street. And so this little bit, so we average it out that they're probably getting about $200 to $250 worth of food per week.
Oh my.
And if you add that up, that's almost as much as they get per month in money. So it's close to $1,000 a month worth of food. And so they don't have to spend their money on food. They can use that on paying their rent or paying for gas
Keep
for
the
their
heat
car.
on. Yeah.
Keep the heat on. Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're seeing that's the bigger need, and where it helps the most.
Sure.
And those are the people who appreciate it. And we're also seeing they're coming not just for the food anymore. We've got an amazing worship band down there, and they're coming for the worship. They're singing the songs. They're engaging. And we have a new, different speaker every night, and they're listening, and they're asking questions.
Oh,
and
my.
people are accepting the Lord down there as well.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
we
awesome.
challenge them also with a memory verse, and if they memorize the verse, they get a $10 gift card for the Dollar Tree, and we encourage them to use that for toiletries. Go buy toilet paper and deodorant and shampoo and that type of stuff we don't normally give away. And we're giving out 60, 70 gift cards a month. So that's 60 to 70 people every month who are memorizing a Bible verse.
Different verse each week?
It's a every month. It's a different verse every month.
Oh, okay.
So we use the same verse every month, and every meal that goes out, if it's a bag lunch, if it's a box lunch, it has that verse on it.
Okay.
The people who get them delivered obviously don't have the option to come or the ability to come and get the gift card, but at least they're getting that verse as well.
Absolutely.
So, it's not just the food we're trying to give out. We're trying to put out the word of God to people, because realistically, if they can take that and use it, utilize it, it's a better tool than any food we can give them.
That's incredible. So about how long have you been doing this?
We've been doing this now. We're going into our 16th year. We've been doing the hot meals. We're going into our 10th year of the hot meals. We've been doing groceries now. We're going into our 16th year. Initially started out as a ministry from a local church, and the church no longer wanted to be in that type of ministry. It was finances and whatnot. So me and a group of people formed our own 501(c), and we took it over, and we bought the building. And that was about 5 years ago. And so we've been running it independently for about 5 years, which is now H-Street Ministry Inc.
Okay.
Very similar to what Modesto Christian Inc. did.
Sure.
We did virtually the same thing, and we basically bought our property from the same people Modesto Christian bought their property from.
Okay. Oh.
So it's been fantastic, and we haven't looked back. And God's providing for us. He just is.
That's incredible.
And people always ask, what's our biggest need, right? And I knew you were going to ask me that. I see it.
I was clicking. It was already clicking.
That what's our biggest need? People would think, well, food, well, money. Our biggest need is people. Our biggest need, our greatest need is people. If we had more people, we could serve a meal every night of the week.
Oh, wow.
We just don't have enough people. I've got a group of about 10 people who come anywhere between 3 and 4 nights a week. And, by the end of the week, they're there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And we were trying to put on Friday, and it was like, that's just too much.
Wow.
Their families started going, it's just too much.
Yeah, right.
So really, our biggest need is people. We could use money, don't get me wrong.
Sure.
Every nonprofit could use money.
Sure.
We could never have enough of that. We'd love to expand. We're looking at wanting to even locate into a second place.
Okay.
Because we are really at capacity as the meals that we're in seating. We've actually put seating outside of our building because we didn't have enough room inside the building. We can. And it's hstministry.com. hstministries.com.
We'll put that down below, won't we?
And you can go there and make a donation, or you can go ahead and contact me, and we'd love to have you not donate, but to volunteer. Volunteers is really our biggest need. It truly is. It says,
as you're...
the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few.
Absolutely.
I never knew how true that was.
Oh, my gosh. Well, Tony, what you're doing is incredible. It stirs my heart. And as you were talking, Tony, this totally stirs my heart. I am very excited to get this message out. And while you were talking, I realized there's 2 resources that you need, or this is a resource for those that need what you do,
right.
And then there's also, we need the resource, or you need the resource of volunteers.
Right.
And actually, I'm going to challenge. I know a very good friend of mine has kept saying, I need to get down there. I need to get down there.
And let me share this with you. This is something I never expected, that the ministering to the volunteers.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we've come to find out that the people that come down and serve at H-Street Ministry typically will serve more often and want to serve more in their own churches.
Oh, wow.
So that is, for me, is that I never expected that. And to help minister to our volunteers, and you get the volunteers get the fever, and then they take that back to their home churches and go, we want to continue to volunteer.
Absolutely.
Now we know the blessing from volunteering. We've had people who were in worship bands who have never gone out front and sang, and now our worship leader is leading our worship, singing out front. He's one of our regular speakers now.
Oh, wow.
We've
That's
seen
awesome.
People who have never got up in front of somebody and gave a message, get up and give a nice, 10, 15-minute sermon, and they're like, I never thought I could do that.
Right.
And it really helps them. And then we've had volunteers who their walks were, maybe a little sluggish, and then after volunteering, just felt the fire from God and get them through some very rough times because they have been able to draw closer to God through volunteering. I'm just going to put this out there. Jesus said to serve. Going to church on Sunday is great. We all need to do that. Doing our tithe is fantastic. But what Jesus wants us to do is to take care of those who are the least of these. And that's what touched my heart, is that we have to get to those. And that's what Jesus would be doing.
Absolutely.
So.
We're of the same heart at the Reeve team. In fact, we have a mantra. People are our passion. Real estate is just what we do.
Right.
And while I'm listening to you talk, I see it in your eyes. I'm probably going to tear up. But I can tell that people are your passion, Tony. And just feeding them is what you do. Ministering to them is just what you do. I see that in you.
And I think the cool thing is that God's allowed me to use my human gifts in a ministry, which again is because I'm a transportation broker. You can see all the maps on the wall. That's what I do for a living.
Sure.
I contract trucks for people. And being able to coordinate the donations, it's the same thing that I do for a living.
Right.
Go pick it up here, come bring it there. We need it picked up, we need it delivered. And that has just been amazing. And then coordinating the distribution of the food is what I do for a living. And I get to do this in a ministry for God. It's just, there is no bigger blessing.
That's incredible. Well, listen, I had a great time with you, everybody. check out H-Street Ministries. Donate your time, or if you need the resource, there no prerequisite
Not at all.
to getting there.
Not at all.
Yeah, come on out, and if you need some help, this is the guy to come see. Tony, thank you very
welcome
much.
everybody.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.